As soon as the officer arrived, he said, "Get in the car." Hello people of YouTube, and welcome to another video from my room here in Lima, Peru, and welcome to my very first Storytime video. Yes, I have recently decided to incorporate the segment into my channel. To be honest, I've been wanting to do this for a long time now, and I am so glad I finally did. And just a little disclaimer here before I start, I just wanted to let you know that throughout this whole video I'm probably going to mention the word Chinese or China a lot, and that's just because that's the country where this whole story took place. I don't have anything against Chinese people. In fact, China has a very special place in my heart, and I'm just doing this for entertainment purposes. So with that being said, if you haven't watched my previous video yet, I invite you to do so. I've put the link up there so you can click and go directly to that video. I appreciate that a lot, and now with that being said, let's just get to the video. Today I'm gonna tell you the story when I was taken to the police station in China. Yes, I know it sounds a little bit dramatic, and believe me, that's exactly how I felt at that time. But now that it's been, what, like 4 or 5 years, I can finally laugh whenever I think about it, and I am just ready to let you know all the details. Basically, in 2017, I won a scholarship that allowed me to travel to China to learn Chinese language and culture for a whole academic year. The semester didn't start until week number 2, so the very first week in China was just to get to know the campus, to sign up for classes, get a medical checkup, the residency permit, and so on. We also started to get familiar with other international students on campus, and that's how I met the characters of this story. I'm not gonna mention any names because I believe that doesn't even matter, but there's this one guy that, just for the sake of this video, let's just call him the F guy. Not because of the F word, but because that's the initial of his first name, okay? At the beginning of my stay, I was hanging out with 2 Peruvian girls. So with me, we were 3, plus another 3 guys from another country. Out of those 3 guys, just 1 spoke English. Neither of them spoke Spanish, and whenever we wanted to talk to the other 2 guys, we had to talk to them in Chinese, which was very funny because our Chinese was super basic. Mine is still super basic, but... So, this story took place literally during my first month in China, and it's very important to mention here that we had a curfew at uni. The dorms would close at 11:30 p.m. every day and would open the next day at 6 a.m. And just a fun fact about me, I don't really go out much, but whenever I go out and I do it well. And I like people telling me what their plans are in advance. Like if you tell me that we'll be back at 6, I'm like all in till 6, you know? But if it's till 6 and then all of a sudden at 2 a.m. you're just bored and you want to go home, that's a huge downer to me, and I'm just gonna want to go back to bed and sleep. But anyway, during my first month in China, it was a Friday night and we decided to go to a bar, the 6 of us. It was a very well-known bar for being the hotspot of international students, so it was a really cool place to meet people from different backgrounds. Thing is that it was between 1 and 2 a.m. I think, and the F guy was like, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore, I want to leave. And we were like, are you kidding? We just got here, where do you want to go? Because we were new in the city, we didn't know anywhere else to go, we only knew that bar. And he was like, I don't know, but I just want to leave. And now that I think about it, it's not fair how we all had to leave because of that F guy, because we were having fun. And not only that, but because where else were we going to go? Like, it's not that we could grab our stuff and go back to uni because we had a curfew, we couldn't go back. But because we were new in the city and we were buddies and we came together, of course, we grabbed our stuff and left the bar. So you can imagine how your girl was. I was bored to death. So we had the brilliant idea to go to KFC, which was opened 24/7. By that time, I was already dead tired. I didn't even want to talk. Just the thought of having to wait till 6 a.m., having to wait for 4 or 5 hours in order to go back to our dorms, like all that made me feel super tired and bored. And I know that what I'm about to say is not a really nice thing to do, but what I did was I stood up and said, you know guys, I'm just gonna go to that table and have a rest, okay? Because everybody was chatting and I didn't want to be the party pooper. Although we all know who the party pooper was at this point. The F guy. I didn't sit right next to them, but I kind of sat like over here, so the 3 people that were sitting here and this guy could keep an eye on me just in case. And the entrance was right here, by the way. I remember putting my purse on top of a table and then kind of like putting the straps around my arm while putting my head down for a few minutes. So if someone tried to grab my purse, I would feel it, in theory. I literally don't remember anything else because it turns out that I fell asleep. I woke up because the F guy approached me and told me, check your purse, because I've seen someone walking around you a while ago. And that's when I realized that something bad had happened. Honestly, my first thought was, are you kidding me? Like, you saw someone suspicious walking around me and you did nothing? Like, why? But I mean, I understand, I do get it. It's my fault because I separated myself from the group in the first place, but we were 7 people in total and 3 of them were facing me. So how come nobody saw me or did anything? But anyway, I opened my purse, which had a flap and a zip. By the way, I think I have it right here. Hold on a second, okay? Okay, this is the purse. It has a flap and then 3 zippers, and I used to put my wallet right here. So I opened it and yes indeed, my wallet was gone. I remember standing still for a few seconds trying to process what had happened while the 2 Peruvian girls looked for the KFC stuff and the others went outside to try to find a thief, but it was just too late. I was crying. I felt so bad, but not because I was scared or anything like that, but because I was worried about the things inside my wallet. First of all, I had my Peruvian ID. Secondly, I had about 200 yuan, which is like $30. It might not sound like a lot of money, but my currency is not USD. My currency is Peruvian sol. So to me, $30 is a lot of money. Then I had a document that served as my passport while my residency was in process. When you go to China, and if you're gonna stay for a longer period of time, you need to get a temporary residence permit at your local police department. So they keep your passport and they give you that sheet of paper instead, which you can absolutely use for official matters. And yes, silly me for taking my passport to a bar. And on top of that, I had my Peruvian debit card with all my savings in it. I panicked because I didn't have any money, and it's not as if I could just have gotten a new card because I was thousands of miles away from my country, and even so, I wouldn't have been able to do that because I didn't have my Peruvian ID. As a matter of fact, as a scholarship student, I had a monthly allowance, but at that time, I had just arrived in China, so I had nothing. But moving on, the Peruvian girls were able to talk to the KFC employees so they could at least show us the security cameras, but they refused to do so, and instead, guess what? They called the police. Literally 5 minutes later, the police arrived and we thought he was going to talk to the employees to let us see the security cameras, but no. As soon as the officer arrived, he said, "Get in the car." We were like, what? We didn't know what was going on. Firstly, because my wallet had been stolen, then because we thought the officer wanted to arrest us, and finally because our Chinese level wasn't good enough to be able to explain this whole situation to the officer, and clearly the officer spoke neither English nor Spanish. I remember that only 4 people could get into the patrol car, so it was me, my Peruvian friend, one of the 3 guys who spoke English, and then the F guy whose Chinese speaking skill was better than ours. When we arrived at the police station, there were other officers there, and as soon as they started asking us questions, I literally felt as if we were playing the broken telephone game, because I would talk to my Peruvian friend, and then whatever I needed to say, I would say it in English to the F guy's friend, who would say whatever he understood from my conversation with him in whatever language he spoke to the F guy, so he could finally render this whole conversation in his broken Chinese to the officer. Terrible. In the end, they asked for my name, my passport number, my university's name, my teacher's name, and as we were new, we didn't have that information handy, and so we told them that we would come back in the afternoon to provide all the information they needed. And so they let us go, and no, they never let us check the security cameras. We ended up going back to uni at around 6:30 a.m. I think. We went back to our dorms to get some sleep. I didn't sleep at all, but we decided to wait till 9 a.m. so we could go to visit our classmate's roommate, because he had lived there for a few years and we wanted to get some advice. We explained the whole situation to him, and this is what he said. You don't dare to tell the school anything about this, because you're not going to get anything good out of it. Chinese people hate damaging their images, and so you would be the only one negatively affected, since they would probably punish you by not letting you go off campus, or even worse, canceling your scholarship and sending you back home. I was like, what? Like, how is this possible? I am the only victim here. But that didn't even matter anymore, because I was already super scared. I literally imagined myself getting deported the very next day, and so I took this guy's words very seriously and I didn't go back to the police station. Instead, I just went to the international student's office and told them that I had lost my wallet and that I needed some sort of documentation in order to take that to the local police department to finally be able to pick up my actual passport. As for my debit card, that is a whole different story, which I'm gonna tell in another video, but long story short, luckily I had a joint account with my mom for emergency purposes, and so she sent me her card in the mail. If you ask me why I didn't tell anyone else about this at that time, I was too scared. I was new in the country, and I didn't know any teachers I trusted just yet. So I just decided to let it go and forget about it, I guess. Has anything ever happened to you? Like anything similar? Please let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to keep hearing from me. This is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys like it, and please move forward to the next one. Bye bye!